Hello, welcome to Publish My Stories, where creating your memoirs is made easy. So why do people create memoirs? Before we answer that question, we need to discover how many types of memoirs there are. There are in fact 4 different types. The first type of memoir is a teaching memoir. It's when you're passing on some experience to the next generation, or something that you have learned throughout your life that you feel is important and other people need to know. For example, if you are a skateboarder, you could start your memoir with how you started skating, any tricks that you learned, tricks that you found difficult, or tricks that you have created. It's all about teaching and passing on hints and tips. The second type of memoir is that of a transformative journey. This is when you've overcome a struggle or adversity. For example, you may have been diagnosed with cancer, and your memoir will be about your journey back to full health. Adding a goal, like walking your daughter down the aisle, will give an emotional hook to your memoir. Overcoming adversity differs from one person to the next, and what is a struggle for you may not be for someone else, but it's your battle and the battle and struggles that you overcame that is the learning point. History memoirs are probably the most popular memoir. We like to keep a record of our family, what they have done in the past, something to hand down to the next generation. For example, what did your grandmother and your great-grandmother or your grandfather do in the First or Second World War? Capturing those stories is important to keep your family and their memories alive. The final memoir is that of a confessional memoir. This is where you tell people your truth as you understand it, where you explain your actions and experiences. For example, if you stole money for your company, why you stole the money, how you were fired, and the ramifications of those actions upon you and your family. It is important to know which type of memoir you are going to write before you start. For example, if you're going to write a confessional memoir, you will need to decide who will see the finished book. You will pour your heart and soul out, warts and all as they say. Remember, you can never untell somebody something. If you're going to make a living out of your memoir and put it on Amazon and create products and interest, then possibly give talks, then you'll need to write your memoir in a more sales-orientated way. So let's have a look at Jackie. Jackie doesn't think she has anything interesting to say, and that anybody would be interested in her story. But nothing could be further from the truth. Jackie is a very successful business owner and has a very loving family. When Jackie was 21, she started a hobby of photography. Her first camera was a film camera, but as soon as the digital camera came out, she embraced everything to do with digital photography. She is so good that she now teaches family and friends how to use their digital cameras. She even gives lessons on how to use their mobile phones when taking photographs. If Jackie was to create a memoir on her hobby, photography, it would certainly be a teaching memoir. Jackie came from an abusive family. Her father was an alcoholic, and when he got drunk he would be violent towards her and her mother. She met Richard at 18 and they married at 23. As far as Jackie was concerned, it was her out from her abusive father. She had planned her wedding, had a magical day, and had planned the rest of her life with Richard. For her to write her memoir on this, it would very much be a transformative journey. When Jackie was 26, she discovered that Richard had been having an affair with her best friend for 4 years. She was devastated. She left Richard, didn't know what to do with herself. So she put everything she owned into a backpack and travelled the world for 18 months. She met some interesting people and went to some beautiful places. It was the best 18 months of her life. If Jackie was to write a memoir on this period, it would certainly be a transformative journey. At 29, Jackie made the decision that she no longer wanted to work for anybody else and set up her own business. She'd always been passionate about coffee, so she set up a cafe bar. Within 3 years, she owned 3 cafe bars and a mobile coffee van that went round to offices and building sites selling coffee. If Jackie was to write a memoir about her setting up a business, it would certainly be a teaching memoir. When Jackie was 29, she met and fell in love with Ian. Although apprehensive with her experience with Richard, she gave her heart to him. They've been together for over 20 years. They've got 3 beautiful daughters, and Jackie is very much a hands-on mother. She loves spending time with her girls, crafting, walking, and doing the girly things. If Jackie was to write a memoir on her life with Ian, it would certainly be a history of her family and how they got together, giving the true romance. When Jackie was 32, her and Ian bought a plot of land on the top of a hill and built their dream house. It is their pride and joy. If you go round for a cup of tea, you will be given the grand tour. They will show you photographs at every stage of the building, show you the estimates and where they saved money. They'll even show you some of the mistakes they made. If Jackie were to write a memoir here, it would certainly be a transformative and a teaching memoir. When Jackie was 40, there was a knock at the door, and a young man introduced himself as Matthew, Jackie's adopted son. When she was in her 20s, she gave birth to a little boy, and Richard and her father made her give him up for adoption. It wasn't something she wanted to do, but at the time she didn't have the strength or the courage to say no. Matthew gets on with his half-sisters like a house on fire, and Ian loves him to pieces. The relationship between the two of them can be fractious, but they're working on it. Giving Matthew up was the worst decision she ever did. And if Jackie was to write a memoir about the adoption, it would certainly be a confessional memoir. She's pleased that Matthew is back in her life and determined to make the relationship work. If you have any questions about writing your memoirs or anything in this small movie, please give me a call or drop me an email at info@mypavirtualservices.com. By the way, my name is Julie, and it's been lovely talking to you today. Take care.